This is the Morning Swim Show for Thursday, July 21st, 2011. I'm your host, Peter Bush. In the Phoenice Monitor today, we'll talk to Judy Starkman. She's a swimmer and photographer who just had a cool idea for a photo spread juxtaposing other adult swimmers in their swimwear and their professional attire. Judy joins us right now in the Phoenice Monitor from Los Angeles. Hi, Judy. Welcome to the Morning Swim Show. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks so much.
And I see some of your beautiful photos right behind you.
Yes, those are some of the proofs from the banners that are hanging in downtown Culver City.
Tell us about this project.
Well, I've been a lifelong swimmer, and I'm a photographer, and I'm a director. And I've been swimming in this beautiful 50-millimeter pool in Culver City called the Culver City Plunge Pool. And I think because of the location, it's in downtown Culver City, but it's close to Los Angeles, it's close to Santa Monica, and it attracts a great diversity of people. And it is that diversity that kind of attracted my attention. Everybody in the water is it's like the water is the great equalizer. Everybody's stripped down to the basics. In one lane, you have a former Olympian. In another lane, you can have an amputee. And in the water, everybody's a swimmer. And I kind of was struck by that idea. And I noticed that it was after people had finished their swim and they dried off, they put their clothes back on, that they kind of regained this identity. And I was really struck by the concept of taking portraits of these dual identities. And it was literally while I was swimming where the Secret Life of Swimmers idea popped into my head. So I went out and I started approaching some of my friends who are the swimmers, my first victims, if you will, and I asked them to pose for me. And the series is, one photograph in their bathing suit and one photograph in their street life. And that's how the series started.
And I see some of the examples again over your shoulder. We've got, looks like a fireman, a mom. I mean, anybody and kind of what their life is like outside the water, right? Yes.
I mean, I have like Jason, who is one of the first people I photographed as well. He was 25 years old. He was 25 years old. He was on a basketball scholarship. He is a very inspirational human being. He got into an incredibly devastating car accident, and in order to save his life, doctors had to amputate his leg. Well, obviously that was devastating to him, and changed the course of the rest of his life. But he hops out to the pool, on one leg. He's very proud. He's confident. He's approachable, and he's an athlete. He still is an athlete. So, I approached him about being in the project, and he was really touched that I wanted to portray him as this swimmer, as an athlete, not somebody who was a victim. So he's one of the characters. I have a really 14th century gal who I like to refer to her as. She's a textile conservator at a museum here. And she just has this other life outside the pool. It's really interesting. There's the firefighter. There's the Orthodox Jewish man who had a bout with Guillain-Barré syndrome and was paralyzed and came to the pool to aid in his therapy and and he was able to rehabilitate himself. There's mothers, there's professional swimmers. It's just really a cross section of every kind of person you can imagine, and that's what's been so great about the project.
Do you include yourself in the project?
Eventually I think I'm going to have to do that. I want to do a book. Long-term goal would be to do a book, and maybe the very last picture of the book at the end of the project might be me.
We're showing some of the pictures throughout the interview. We can see some behind you. Is there a place where people can go either online, or are they on public display somewhere?
Yes, both. They are on display right now in downtown Culver City, which is right in Los Angeles, in between Venice and Madison. Is the heart of downtown Culver Boulevard. And then they'll move to Sepulveda in September. Well, they'll be up for 2 years, and they'll be there for a while. And also on the virtual gallery, which is thesecretlifeofswimmers.com. There's a film that I made there. There's more photos, profiles, a blog that describes the behind the scenes and kind of how things came together, and more interesting stories about the characters, and everything else you'd want to know about them.
How about reaction from people not in the swimming world, so to speak?
You know, I think the greatest thing about this project is that it's raising awareness about how wonderful swimming is. I mean, my philosophy is everybody winds up in the pool eventually, you know. Either you've been a swimmer your whole life, or you come to it late, or you have to have physical therapy, or something happens where it's you have to do something in the pool. And I think this is kind of shining a light on just how great swimming is and what a joy it is to be in the water and what a great way it is to get exercise. And the reaction from people who aren't swimmers has been, well, maybe I should consider swimming.
And how did you grow up swimming? Where did you grow up, and how far did you ever take it, or has it always just been more for fun?
Well, I'm competitive with myself. It's always been very serious for me. I just have never swum competitively. I grew up in Northern California, you know, beautiful weather. I would spend hours swimming. I kind of considered maybe doing triathletes, you know, when I was in college, but I really was more at home in the water. And I swim 2 miles a day, basically, just for myself, you know, and it's very rewarding to swim. I love to swim. So it's just this thing I've been doing my whole life, and this project is the culmination of 2 things that I love, swimming and taking pictures.
Well, Judy, you are doing a service to the sport that we all love, and for that we are grateful. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Hopefully everyone can go and see Judy's awesome pictures. That is it for today's show. I'm Peter Bush, reminding you to keep your head down at the finish.